Well, this is a new sort of video. Surprisingly, through my searches on the internet, no one has actually made any character profile videos for the cast of Splatoon, and after doing a sneaky little poll on my Discord server, it turned out that 8 is in fact one of the most popular of the playable characters. So what better way to hit off a Splatoon character profile than starting off with everyone's favorite 8-armed, silent, and only playable Octoling, Agent 8. According to what we can learn from Splatoon, Agent 8 was born and raised as an Octoling soldier under the command of DJ Octavio. Sometime after the events of Splatoon 1, during the events of Splatoon 2 Hero Mode, 8 got into a scuffle with Agent 3 and Captain Cuttlefish before somehow being knocked out and taken into the Deep Sea Metro by Tardar, a talking phone, presumably. Agent 8 woke up in the same area as Captain Cuttlefish but separated from Agent 3. After Cuttlefish realized that 8 had amnesia and couldn't remember anything about their past life, they collectively decided it was best to form a truce in order to figure out where they were and how to escape. When they encountered Tartar, it put the task on Agent 8 to complete a bunch of tests and collecting these so-called fangs, which in reality are parts of a really big blender in order to make it to the promised land. Eventually they get in contact with Pearl and Marina with the walkie-talkie, who both help Agent 8 and Captain Cuttlefish. As time goes on in the Octo expansion, Agent 8 also collects these little eraser-looking things called mem cakes, something that helps 8 remember some things from their past life. After finally collecting all the things, Tardar assembled them into a giant blender and attempted to turn 8 and Captain Cuttlefish into a smoothie. Thankfully, Agent 3 was able to make it to them and save them at the last second. Agent 8 followed the pathway Agent 3 took to save them in order to get to the surface, before having to fight Agent 3 themselves, who at this point was actually being mind-controlled by Tartar. After beating 3 and making it to the surface, Tartar put together one final-ditch effort to try and thwart 8's chances of escaping by attempting to fire a giant laser at Inkopolis with a giant statue. After destroying the statue and saving Inkopolis, 8 was finally free to enjoy their new life. So really just another Monday for your average Nintendo protagonist. As is the norm for your average Nintendo protagonist, Agent 8 is a bit of a blank slate, being more of a silent type and keeping a neutral expression throughout most of the adventure. But what makes 8 in particular a more interesting case is that while protagonists like Link are silent, and Mario lacking much emotion, for 8 it's because they have amnesia and don't remember much past experiences in order to shape a personality. Though as 8 passes tests in the Deep Sea Metro, they pick up mem cakes, which do help 8, and in turn, the player, learn more about 8's backstory. The mem cakes show that Agent 8 does enjoy writing poetry, and that they're a very big fan of Callie and Marie. They even knew about Marina before she left the Octarians. Agent 8 also still does hold a certain level of respect for DJ Octavio and the Octarians he commands, since we can see in the mem cake poems that Agent 8 feels sorry for leaving on such short notice. Although that doesn't necessarily mean 8 agrees with whatever Octavio does, and we can see that while they were under Octavio's control, 8 was more compassionate than most other Octolings. Something that for sure shouldn't be glossed over is 8's prowess in battle. Even though 8 has amnesia, Octoling's soldier training is in their blood. Or is it ink? Body fluids? No, that sounds wrong. Point is that fighting is second nature to 8. We can see this clearly demonstrated through the test of the Deep Sea Metro, with the odds majorly not tipped in 8's favor, and even coming out on top in a fight with Agent 3, while Agent 3 had unlimited specials. Going back to when I mentioned Marina, Agent 8 and Marina have quite the connection, and it's not just because they are both Octolings. Marina took an almost parental figure towards Agent 8, with Marina being the first to drop everything to help 8 and is by far the most protective over them, much like a mother for their child. 8 themselves idolizes Marina, even going as far as wanting to be her. With Pearl, 8 and her might not have quite the same relationship as 8 and Marina, but they do share a very close relationship as shown in the Octo expansion, with Pearl supporting 8 the whole way and even stealing money out of her dad's bank account to get 8 out of bankruptcy. As for Captain Cuttlefish, 8 does respect him for his guidance. At the start of the expansion, they did have their moments where they would butt heads, but as they worked together through the Deep Sea Metro, they started to grow on each other, and before long, trusting each other deeply. As for their fellow agents, we don't see 8 interact at all with Agent 4, or at least as far as I'm aware anyways. Agent 3 and 8 though, is generally safe to assume that they became friends shortly after the Octo. Holy moly! Agent 38 is real! Everybody, sound the alarms! This ship has sailed! It isn't exactly clear what Agent A was doing during the events of Splatoon 1's campaign, but it is safe to assume that they were around when Agent 3 and Octavio fought, since in the Octo expansion, right before they wake up, they were humming Calamari Incantation, which is not something they would have heard unless they were present at that boss fight. It is not clear, however, why the Calamari Incantation would not have been able to break the mind control that time. Also, 8 appears to have to fight their own internal battles against what they've been brainwashed into thinking about Inklings all their life, something that manifests itself as Inner Agent 3. It seems like even Amnesia can't completely reverse the effects of being mind controlled for so long. You ready for Agent 8 trivia? Well, here we go. Early concepts of Agent 8 shows that originally, at least female Agent 8 would have thicker hair than she already does, as well as a different ink tank. Or at least, according to the Wikipedia, this is concept art. I don't know, I can find it anywhere else. As it turns out, if he gets splatted during the escape and final boss phases in the Octo expansion, 8 is straight up dead. Yeah, it's confirmed by the Splatoon devs, so time just reverses to when 8 wasn't dead when you press continue. So yeah, Splatoon characters are in fact mortal. 8's name is in fact a reference to how many limbs an octopus has. I bet at least one of you didn't already know that. 8's rounded ears are possibly a reference to Dumbo octopuses? Even though every other Octoling has that as well? Jeez, there's gotta be more interesting trivia than this. Come on, Wiki! Anyways, I think that does it for everything there is to know about Agent 8. I know there's not a whole lot, but that's because there is not a whole lot to know about 8, their blank slate character. But I do know for a fact that there are going to be some things I missed, and if you want to let me know about that, that'd be awesome. And hey, if I have the time, I think I want to make another one of these because this is really cool to make. If you guys would like to see a Splatoon character get their own profile video, just let me know which one. Until next time, eh?